Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We are taking my 2016 Protuned WRX through the Blue Hills. This is the only wooded area within any type of distance from me that's reasonable, and we should have some fun here. We're going to be doing some polls. I do apologize, this is another POV driving video, but in today's video we're talking about the thing that I hate most about my Protuned WRX. This is something you guys have asked time and time again, and I've very much avoided an answer because I like making positive content about WRXs. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the single most thing that I hate the most. That was a terrible English. You get what I meant though. The thing that I hate the utmost about this car, and we're not talking just WRX, we're talking Protuned WRX on the peak of a very large kind of like the next step on this car is kind of internals probably, or flex fuel or whatever you want to say. So, you know, this is probably the higher end of the comfort level of a lot of you guys that are modifying these cars. So what do I hate the most? Well, I'm going to show you guys an intro of exactly what I'm driving if you're not familiar. So let's roll that intro right now. I hope you guys enjoy that, and before we start this video, if you want to see more Subaru WRX content, Protuned content, Subaru content, automotive and tuning content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Every subscription very much helps, and if I provide content that you guys enjoy watching today, please smash that like button. It really helps this channel grow, and it really helps me produce content, and really it increases the amount of modifications that I can put on the car. I mean, that's the straight up answer right there. And guys, this is a POV video. If you haven't noticed, we are doing some winter install parts and stuff, but it's just a lower frequency, so we're doing a lot of these informational and POV videos. I'm waiting for some snow so we can do some snow drifting, because you guys keep asking me about snow drifting. So we will be snow drifting this car as much as I possibly can. Don't worry, it's coming. All right, guys, what is the number one thing I hate about this car? And I'm not gonna mention lots of things. There is a single thing in this video. And, you know, to defend that thing, I need to talk about my car for a second. So this is a 2016 Subaru WRX Pro-Tuned through Bren Tuning. I'm stage 2+, whatever you want to call it. I'm basically at the point where anything more, and I'm considering some major modifications that could really affect the drivability of this car, the reliability, and all those things. But I'm going to get a lot more power, and I'm going to be kind of teetering the line of whether I need to build the internals of the car. So for most of you guys, that's exactly where you want to be with your car. That's the kind of highest level. That's the utmost, you know, success in modification, and any further is kind of like I'm risking my car, and it doesn't make sense for me. I'm kind of sitting in the same boat, except I'm driving this car a lot less, so I have the potential, guys, of possibly going that route. But I wanted to mention the number one thing that I hate the most, because it's ultimately the thing that's holding me back from doing that the most. And before we get started here, here's a place that I really like to do a pull, so let's get a pull for the car. It is raining, so I'm not going to go full throttle, but we'll go pretty close here. All right, we'll start from a roll here. It's a fast 60. So look, guys, the thing that's holding me back, and the thing that I hate most about this car, isn't about its looks. It's not about well, it's kind of about the car, but it's not a physical part of the car. Well, maybe it is. So I'm going to be straightforward here. This is probably not going to be a super long video. You know, guys, the number one thing that I hate about this car is the lack of potential. And you guys are going to absolutely roast me, because I'm speaking from a position of I'm considering other vehicles. And I need to put that disclaimer out right now. Its potential is wild when you compare it to similar vehicles of its class. In fact, I would argue to say under $30,000, the WRX is the best sports car that you can own, hands down. The only thing that I would say maybe trumps it is a Mustang GT. Hate me because I'm saying it, but that is only applicable in certain areas of the country. And if I were to say, is there a clear winner, it very much is the Subaru WRX. But look, now that I've considered other vehicles, and I'm considering bringing other vehicles like the new STI, the R35, a Supra, once I've considered those, I've realized the amount of money that you need to put into this car to take it to the next step might be too much. Might mean this car doesn't have the potential I was hoping it had. So look guys, what do you mean? Because you're gonna say, wait a second, you can get 400 wheel horsepower, you can get 450 wheel horsepower. Sure, you can get 400 wheel horsepower, but after buying the car, you might be something like $35,000 to $40,000 in if you're doing all your labor at a shop. Now I'm not, but a lot of you guys are, so that's the metric we're looking at. For $40,000, you can buy a Supra, and then your upwards potential is much, much higher than the WRX itself. For $40,000, you could buy even a rebuilt Title R35 GTR with high miles. I'm just saying it. It might not be the best option. I'm just saying it though. So look, the number one thing that I hate with this car is its lack of upward potential for the money involved. And this is such a first world problem, and it's such a problem of somebody that's already done, you know, a lot of modification to this car and is getting a lot out of this vehicle. But look guys, if I want to get 400 wheel horsepower, I'm going to end up investing as much as getting a GTR out of this car. Because if I go the next step, right, this is the reality. I'm going to do headers, I'm going to do a front mount intercooler, I'm going to do likely an FP green or an FP blue turbo, and potentially flex fuel or flex fuel instead of the turbo. But even that, you know, just parts alone, I'm probably looking at $4,000 to $5,000 if I'm lucky, and that's buying stuff at cost. I'm looking, you know, assuming the install is free because I'm doing it all myself. But if you were to get someone to install it, could be as much as $3,000, $3,500 to get a good install done on all those parts that I just mentioned. And I'm talking reputable person, kind of this is in my area. It might be a little bit cheaper where you're at, but not substantially, knowing the market. And then you're looking at probably $1,000 in effective tuning. Do you really want to make sure your tune's toned down? Some guys will say $800, but I would really assume that you're going to pay somewhere in the market of $1,000 tuned. If you add that to the existing costs of the car and how much is invested in the car with the cost of the car and the parts, you're getting close to a better car. Now sure, I'll have a 400 wheel horsepower WRX, and you're gonna say, yeah, it's gonna be faster than most of the cars off the, you know, out of the block that I just spoke about. But look guys, with any of those other cars, all it takes, minus the GTR, and kind of yes with the GTR as well, all it takes is a little bit of money to get a little bit of parts and tuning to kind of quickly eclipse what the WRX can do. And then if you want to do the same thing to that other car, you're at like race car speed. You know what I mean? So like the kind of the ceiling for the WRX is really expensive, and it's hard to get to. There's a huge financial investment to get to that point. And I know guys, this is such a first world problem. This is such a problem of somebody that's owned a tuned WRX for a long period of time. But I've got to say, it really and truly is the number one thing that I hate about my Subaru WRX, because, you know, every day I question what I'm going to do. I question whether, do I spend more money on this car? Do I build this car? Do I make it super fast? Or do I bring something new to the channel? Do I put something new in my life? Something that has way more potential and will deliver a significantly higher smile per pony. I don't know what to call it. Mile per dollar, whatever we're gonna call it. And I know you guys are probably pretty surprised, and this is not a super serious, and it's kind of a tuned down video, because yes, it's, you know, it's something different, and it's something that you guys don't hear that often, because everybody's like, oh, I hate this little interior piece, oh, I hate this little thing. But, you know, from somebody that's owned this car for 2 years and has done stuff to this car, and somebody that like has built a community, my YouTube channel, around people that have similar aspirations with their cars or their WRXs or STIs, whatever it is, I want to make sure I'm honest with you guys. And, you know, for everybody that's asked, what's the continuous thing that you hate about your WRX? And I think it's just the upward potential. Would I buy the WRX again? Yes, without a doubt. Will I have a WRX in my life again? 100%. Will I have a WRX, at least one WRX in my life, probably for the time being? Yeah, definitely. Am I gonna buy this generation WRX again when I'm older and I've got different cars? Probably. So I love the car, but I'm just saying that when you guys ask, what do you hate most about it? And when you ask, why aren't you doing the next $20,000 step to your car? This is my thinking, because you know, it's easy to ask a creator, and it's easy to ask someone sharing about their car, and this isn't a negative thing. You know, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And this is really positive. I love hearing it because it gives me ideas personally. but I always feel bad because I never have a great answer, and especially I never have a great answer that I want to share in the comments section. It's never something that I want to share in a Facebook message, because the reality is it comes down to money, and it comes down to what you're getting out of the money and whether or not it's, you know, the long-term goal of the car. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going to call it early here, and we're not going to stretch this too much further. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. I thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for being part of this car's journey. The journey's not over. I'm not telling you guys I'm not going to stop modifying it, but power modification wise, it is on a pause. I've got something like 30 exterior modifications right now planned for this car. I have them all. So I'm just filming them as weather permits, as time permits. I've got a couple already uploaded to YouTube, but I haven't posted them publicly. So we're going to my goal is to kind of spread them out over the winter where I can't be outside all the time and make content on the exterior of the car. I'm going to kind of fit those modifications in as we go and mix in the other POV stuff and informational stuff when I can. So thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. I know we're not looking at me, but awesome. Thank you guys.